Durham completed a second successive win in this year's Natwest T20 Blast as they thrashed Notts at home by 66 runs. Put in on a chilly night, Mark Stoneman and Phil Mustard both scored early boundaries as Durham looked to continue where they left off in their win over Lancashire last week as they arrived at the Emirates for their first home game in this competition this year. The two left-handed openers had taken 20 runs off the first 3 overs when Mustard fell for half of those as England 12th man Jake Ball struck with his first delivery of the match. Stoneman was also soon heading back to the hutch, Samit Patel completing the dismissal of Harry Gurney as the Jets skipper departed for 15. Graham Clark struck the last ball of the 6 overs of power play to the rope. Durham relatively happy to take 46 runs with the fielding restrictions in place. But Clark fell in the next over, Patel winning the LBW to start what was an excellent evening with the ball for him. Ryan Pringle entered the fray with his team on 47 for 3 and he dominated the scoring in partnership with Michael Richardson, the two taking the total to 74 for 3 at the halfway stage of the innings. Patel then bagged his second wicket at the end of over number 11. Dan Christian, the man with the catch, as Pringle departed for a breezy 22. Richardson then picked things up and took Christian for 3 successive boundaries in the next over, one which cost 15 runs and gave Durham the impetus they were looking for. But Richardson on 28 then became Patel's third victim, the all-rounder ending with figures of 3 for 14 from his 4 overs, a spell which left the Jets work to do in the remaining 7 overs. And when Luke Fletcher sent Keaton Jennings on his way for 9, it looked as if the home team would have to settle for a final score of around 150. But a 10-ball over from Harry Gurney, the 17th of the innings, allowed Durham to press on just as they needed to, with Paul Collingwood in at number 8, using all of his experience in what was a typically well-timed and well-thought-out innings. He'd added 37 with Paul Coughlin before the latter was bowled for 18 by Gurney at the start of the penultimate over, with a total on 148 for 7. Yet 30 more runs came off the remaining 11 deliveries. Gurney was again wayward and Collingwood took full advantage to ensure that it was his team which went into the break with the wind blowing in their direction. Twice in successive legal deliveries, the recently turned 40-year-old cleared the rope to end on a crucial 44 made off 22 balls, and thanks to him, Durham were able to post a challenging total of 178 for 7 from their 20 overs, 58 coming from the last 4. Usman Arshad and Coughlin both began the reply with inexpensive overs before Barry McCarthy, so impressive in that win over Lancashire, removed Michael Lum with his first delivery of this match, Scott Borthwaite with the catch. Coughlin's second over was a little more pricey, but the Outlaws were still able only to knock off 39 runs from their target from their 6 overs of power play. And they soon began to implode. Collingwood's fine night continued as he had Sam Wood held by Pringle in his first over, a wicket which left Notts on 44 for 2 in over number 8. Their best chance lay with Ricky Vessels, a man in form against Durham and one who was looking to make the one big score of this night to guide his side over the line. This shot carried the distance, but having got to 38, he gave Pringle some more work to do in the field, McCarthy with more reason to celebrate as Notts were left with 108 runs to find for the final 9 overs. Collingwood brilliantly stifled the scoring, leaving it to Jennings to remove danger man Christian before he'd made it into double figures, a plug into the deep seeing the back of the Aussie. With 97 needed from 6 overs, Arshad returned to get shot of the informed Brendan Taylor, and after that the wickets fell at very regular intervals. McCarthy ended with figures of 3 for 27, Patel the 6th man to go with 3 figures not yet on the scoreboard. Coughlin also chipped in with 2 wickets of his own in the next over, the 18th, as Notts had no choice but to throw the kitchen sink at everything. Greg Smith holed out, as did Stephen Mullaney 4 balls later. Durham making the most of Collingwood's strong finish at the end with the bat and the mean efforts of the home attack at the start of the reply. All that was left was for Arshad to grab his second wicket, that of ball, before Fletcher gave Arshad some work to do in the field as Coughlin ended with figures of 3 for 25. Notts all out for just 112 with 4 balls of their innings unused. After witnessing their attack being sent to all parts in the championship by these opponents, this was a very comprehensive and professional win. And it's one which has Durham lying second in the North Group as they now head to Birmingham on Friday. They'll travel there filled with confidence after this very pleasing 66-run success.